So we're back here with Lloyd. We'll continue building Mindshift audio. Lloyd, what are we building today?
So today we're going to actually concentrate on the home page, doing the navigation and so on. And if we get time, we'll move on to the first page, the main crux of the app, which is the generation of the audio.
Okay, awesome. So last time we built the login page and the registration. Let's go down from there and let's start building the home page. So we have the home page right here, which is the one that we've built earlier. And if I run this page, or we have a root page as well, which has a small indication that we are in the application, that we are actually authenticated. If I now run this page, I get this indication that I am authenticated because I am. So that's great. But I wanted to talk about several ways of testing your application. You can hit this button right here, which always runs the template that you have open. And this button actually runs your application in development, test, accept, or production. Now, the thing to remember is when you run this, for example, even in development, on a new application, most of the times you arrive at a status not found page. And the reason is that this actually starts up your application in your home page, and you have to configure the home page of your application in order for this to work. So we'll be building a home page today, so we'll be able to configure this, and then we'll be able to start using this button as well. So let's try and start to create our root page, which is not our home page, I must say, but we called it the root page. And I have to explain a little bit about this. First of all, when you create applications, most of the times you have like a certain user interface elements that reappear on every single page in exactly the same form throughout your application. So for example, if you have an application, you have a navigation bar, this navigation bar is in exactly the same place, looks exactly the same on every single page of your application. Sometimes you even have sections within your application that within that section they also have a user interface elements that appear on exactly the same place in exactly the same way. And you can actually map this out with NoCode-X by using the template hierarchy. So we have a template hierarchy right here. And every page that you build by using the create button right here will show up as the only node in your template hierarchy. So for example, registration completed that we've built right here. If I open up hierarchy, I will have nothing but registration complete as a node right here. Then login, exactly the same. If I log in right here, I will have nothing else but the login page in my hierarchy. Now, for login pages and registration pages, that's perfectly fine. For the application itself, we want to utilize the hierarchy in NoCode-X. So let's start by creating one child of root, and the only thing that we have to do is we have to open up, and I'm zooming in with the mouse scroll button, by the way. So the only thing that we have to do is we have to go to our root page, open up the hierarchy, and click the plus button right here, which will create a new template in my application, which is called root child. And then I can start editing it. And if I open it, you immediately see that I have the same user interface element on this page as I have on root on my root page. And the cool thing is, if I move this up to the corner right here, and I open up the root child page, it is propagated towards that root child page. So the root child page follows its parent. But of course, the parent does not follow the child. So if I put a bar chart on this page, I won't see that same bar chart on the parent page. So that's the idea behind this hierarchy. And what I actually want to do is I want to make this child into my home page. Home. And let's run this on /home. Save it. And then I want to create a navigation bar here in the root page, actually. So, and if I go back to the functional analysis, I can see here that we have like a welcoming message. We have an amount of credits. So actually, this is something that we want to see on every single page, right? So this navigation. All right, awesome. So let's start building this. So I can get rid of this. That's good. So I'm on the root page. Home page will have, well, it doesn't have a bar chart, but it's also empty right now. So let's start building. So first of all, because this is a mobile app, most of the times we put things underneath each other. So a vertical list as a main container will do. So let's put this in width 100%. So it will span over the entire width of the page. And let's put the height also on 100% like this. Of course, this is pretty pink right now. So let's remove the background, and let's also remove the border right now. And then I'm going to do something weird. I'm going to put another vertical list in this vertical list. I'll explain later. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a horizontal list underneath this vertical list. And this horizontal list will actually make up my my menu. It will make up the navigation that I want to build. So I'll call this navigation like this. So that's correct. And then let's choose a height for this navigation, maybe 50 pixels. And again, the yellow bar or the yellow H pops up, signaling to me that I have a different setting on a different view, a different screen size. So let me just zoom into the mobile screen size right here. So I still have some padding going on in the container page. So this one. So let me just call this container like this. And then I can remove the padding as well. So that's starting to look okay. And then I want to move everything in my container to the to the bottom of the page. So I grab my container, this one, the actually the first vertical list that I put on the screen. I open up the item settings and I adjust the vertical alignment to the bottom. So as you can see now, the horizontal list at which I want to be my my navigational menu will now be actually be at the bottom of the page, which is perfect for mobile applications, because that's where your thumbs are. You don't want to put your menu on the top of the page. So all I have to do is I have to first name this vertical list, because I want this vertical list to be by the content of my page. And I want it to grow. So I wanted to take up the remaining space of the actual the remaining space of the actual parent. So this grows until the complete height of until it fills the complete height of the parent. So like that. Voila. So, and these are still very pink. So let me also remove the background and the border. And let me also remove the background and the border right here. So we set this like that. So if we zoom in a little bit onto the mobile view, we can now see we have a little skeleton into place. And all we need to do, of course, is design our our navigation bar right now. So let's start by giving this a white background, or let's give it the primary background. Let's start with that, and let's give it like a small. Let's see how it was here. So it has a small border, for example, on the top. So we can choose to have a border for all borders, but you can choose to have a top border, left border, bottom border, and right border, and set it up separately as well. So voila. So let us try and do that. I missed this. Yeah. So first of all, you have to choose which kind of border that you want to set. I can choose a lot, for example, a dashed border right here. So as you can see, these are small dashes, but in this case, yeah, you can choose dot. You can go wild. You can have a double border as well, but let's just go with a simple single border. And I now see that I've done it incorrectly because I wanted it only at the top. So let's do it only at the top as well. And I want it to be really, really subtle. So I'll just choose the alternate color as well. And the width of my border is just 1. So like this. Voila. Then I might want to change a little bit on the container as well, because I can see that there is still a gap between the horizontal list and the vertical list, and this horizontal list and the bottom of the page. So that has to do with the fact that each template, each vertical list that you drop on the page by default has a gap for the children configured at 10 pixels. So if we put it at 0 pixels, this gap is gone. So like that. And let me switch off the borders. So we can actually see which element that we have selected. So as you can see, it's really subtle, but we have a line there that will indicate that we're on the that this is the actual navigational menu. And now we can do several things. We can drop in icon buttons right here. So for example, so let me just take away the padding so we don't have to mess with that. We can use icon buttons for these, or we can create our own buttons, and this might be more fun as well. So let us create our own buttons for now. So we have a little bit more wiggling room in how we want these buttons to look. So let's first create then a vertical list. That's that. Let's make this vertical list 50 pixels by 50 pixels. Let's do it for every single screen size like that. And let's keep it in pink for now. Let's create another vertical list. Let's also make this 50 pixels by 50 pixels like this. Let's keep it for every screen. And then we'll do it again. So for every link that we will be creating, we will need this this vertical list. I don't know, because I put it at 50%. Okay, and of course we want to center these buttons, so let's do that. We need a vertical alignment that is centered and a horizontal alignment that is centered as well. So Maybe we want to have like rounded corners instead of semi-rounded corners, or maybe want to have a full circle instead of rounded corners. That's what I meant. So the thing is, what you can do is you can go into border of each of these items and change 12 to a really high number. At some point in time, the number becomes too high and creates a complete circle. Um, Depending on how big your your element is here, of course, because you have to have the half amount of pixels is actually the turning point here. So if I put it at 25, you'll see that it has a full circle. If I go down to 20, you'll see it looks a little bit more rounded, but not circle like. So I'm just going to put them all at 25. So I have circles. So that's that. And then I am going to change the background of these as well. And maybe we'll change them into something else. I'm now thinking that we should maybe put them at a transparent color for now. And then we can make them when you hover them. No, but that's not a good idea because it's a mobile application and there is no hovering in mobile. So let's just put them at the primary color then for now. And again, because we hook this up to our design system, this is really easily changed as well. Voila. I noticed that these still have some borders going on, so let me also have the border, get rid of the borders. So let's put a none here. Now I can't do the reset thing because I have the border radius filled in. So that's why I don't use the reset, because that will remove my radius as well and will keep this from having circles. So and then I see that these stick a bit to the line that I created on the horizontal list. So let's go in there and add a little bit of a padding. For example, 5 pixels might be enough. And let's also add 5 pixels to the bottom. And then let's make the size 60 pixels. So this has room actually. So now we have to get some icons in there. And there are 2 ways of getting icons in your application. The first way allows you to choose any icon from the Google font icon pack. The second way allows you to choose any SVG icon that you might find on the web. So the first way is really simple. You go in here, you choose your icon, you drop it in the vertical list that I have created. I'm going to center it later, and then you choose an icon from this icon pack, and then you give it a color, and you're good to go. But of course, let's try the other one because this is much more fun. We have much more freedom on which icon to use. So let me just quickly remove this icon right here. Boom, it's gone. And then I have this cool site SVG copy, or I call it SVG copy. It's called copy icon. And you can find all kinds of SVG, and you can really simply copy the SVG code. So let's find something for the whole. And let's see if we can find a good icon right here. Or maybe let's do whole page if we can find it. Yeah, that's okay. So let's use this one. All you have to do is copy this SVG, and now it's copied to my clipboard. And then I go into elements. I choose image right here. I drop the image on the vertical list, and instead of media library, instead of URL, I choose SVG, and then I can go in here and add this home icon as my icon right there. that will be displayed. The only thing I have to do right now is, of course, this vertical list has some padding, so I remove the padding, and then all I have to do is like make it 100%, 100%, so it spans out the entire vertical list like this. So as you can see, there is now an image in my button. And the cool thing here as well is I can go back into the vertical list and I can play with the padding to make this. No, I cannot play with the padding. I'll have to play with the height of the image apparently. Well, so let's do that. Let's go and make it like 25 pixels high and 25 pixels broad. So like this, and let's reset it for all screen sizes. And then I'll have to center it using the items horizontal and vertical alignment. So I center it so it's in the center of my vertical list like that. So I'm looking into this. What is now now a bit of a problem here? I'll have to look into this why this is not centering completely. But I first want to show you another trick. Then in fact you have these SVG codes right here, and most of the times they include the color of the SVG baked into the SVG already. But it's really easy to make this color in your SVG adjustable. So all you have to do is you have to find everything that is called stroke or fill, and you just the value for stroke or fill, you replace it with current color like this. And I'm just gonna do this current color right here, and then I'm gonna do it again right here. You just replace it with current color. And if I have everything with current color, then I can go down and then I can open up SVG, and then I can like start to change it. And as you can see, as I change it to like alternate, it gets a different color. So let's just quickly add some padding to this one to make sure it's centered correctly. Voila. It's probably because the SVG is maybe not correctly as a I don't know. So I'm just gonna add a padding to the vertical list right here. I think 8 is fine. So and then let's do the same for the other icons as well. So we need a new session. So we'll find an icon. Yeah, Lloyd? Okay, a new session. So we'll find an icon for new. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. Of course. So you put it in the vertical list, SVG, whoop, and then we go into stroke, current, color. Now you have to watch. You have to watch the casing for current color. It has to be current with a small letter and then a color with a capital. So be careful with that. So that's that like this. And I think I have all the current colors. And then I start sizing it again. 25 pixels, 25 pixels, all sizes, boom, boom, like this. And then we start centering it again. Center. And then again, the same issue. And this is probably to do with the fact that I have a radius going on or something. So we'll just use this. So that looks nice. And then I can change again to alternate like this. So that's that. And then let's find the the and maybe we have something like a list or something like that. So let's use something like this. Copy SVG, and let's do the same. Boom, voila, SVG. But let's make it a bit bigger. Then we go into current core. Current color, current core. And we'll probably have some tools that will help you with this in the future. But yeah, this is the way you do it right now. So pixels, 25 pixels again, and then reset. And then of course the center and the center, the padding, reset the padding, and then you have to have 8 pixels. And then the core, SVG alternate. Voila. Oh, I missed. See, that this is what happens when you miss one stroke. So there's somewhere a stroke in there that hasn't received the correct current color sign. So I cannot see it immediately. Here it is. Voila. So that's fixed. So this is our menu for now, and let's see how that looks on a page. Let's see if we can try it out. So let's put our sizing or our screen size to mobile. So as you can see, yes, now everything falls into place. Yes, I'm gonna get rid of this padding. So it's only on the editor, so I'll have to fix this in the editor as well. But let's just for now get rid of this padding, and then it'll be centralized on the real page, which is the most important part. So it's get rid of this padding, so like that. So now we have our first attempt at a menu going on right here. So as you can see, you can like well, you can see the menu right here. We can do some other stuff. For example, things on hover, and this happens because I have different settings for the sizing. So normally, as you can see here, it's still yellow. So it won't happen if I reload the page anymore. So the thing is, because I have this I built this in the root page, this will be propagated down to my children. So for example, my homepage already has the same horizontal list right here. Now, the main advantage of this is if I wanted to add a new link in my menu, I would only have to do it in the root page, and then it will be propagated downwards to all the children. So I only would have to change one page for that change. So let's implement the on-click functionality of the vertical list. So of the button that will lead to the home page. So let's go select this vertical list. Let's open up actions, which are actually the way that you link logic to any UI element, but also any other element within NoCode-X. We have other triggers as well. For example, on the templates, you always have an onload trigger, which will execute your logic every time a certain page is loaded. But you also have very interesting I'm not going to show it right now, but you also have a very interesting triggers on other parts of NoCode-X, such as data formats, such as your entire application as well. so to say, and such as jobs and APIs, they all use triggers to execute logic based on your own logic. So in this case, we want to execute something when this button right here is being clicked. So let's create a new action. Let's call this action go to homepage. Voila. And let's make let's make this redirect the user to the homepage. So I have this small function right here, which is called route to page. And then I can choose my homepage like this. And if I now go to, I'm guessing this is the root page. And I click this one, I will arrive at the home page. The only way to see this right now is by checking out the URL. So that's that. Now let's configure this home page as being the home page of my application. So all I have to do right here to do this is go to click on the application selector and hit the pencil button right beside your application. I go into metadata and I have here a list, and I can select my homepage from the list of templates. Then I hit save, and that's really it. So next time that I do this, I should arrive at the homepage. So as you can see, I am here at the homepage. Still have to make my screen a bit less big. So I'm here at the homepage like this. So now this button also works. And this actually means that every time somebody tries to access my application through through just its domain name, we will redirect this user to the home page. So this is the actual first page this user will see. Let me just quickly go through these annoying breakpoints I've set up right here. So like that. So voila, let's start designing our home page as Lloyd imagined it. So let's start with the welcoming message, and let's put in a placeholder for the username right there. And then let's figure out a way to visualize a current amount of credits. Let's just do it manually. It's more educational anyway. So let's put up a vertical list. No, let's put up a horizontal list first. And let's put it in our content vertical list. Remember, Lloyd, the content vertical list that I've built in the root, it's here as well. And I've just put a horizontal list inside this one. The idea is that I can put all the contents that I have inside this content vertical list. I'll make this content vertical list scroll if the content becomes bigger, and then the user will always see the navigation in place, but will be able to scroll through the content. That's the idea. So you can also opt to have the welcoming message always on the top of the page, but I don't think that's your idea, right? So let's first of all let's get rid of the padding in this content page, because this is a bit annoying here. So the thing is, so this is my advice: if you change anything to components that are on your root template, then change it on your root template and not on the underlying templates. Because you can change it on the underlying templates, but if you then change your root template, it will override your changes anyway. So always keep in mind of the hierarchy in your application. So let's do this. Padding, let's remove this padding right here, and then it should be removed on the home page as well. Let's maybe see if I remove the correct padding. We have the content right here, remove it, and then we have now it's removed. I had to wait a little bit. So let's remove the border of this horizontal list as well, so it's gone. There was a border right here, and let's make this background also have the alternate background, and then let's put in a height of, like, for example, 150 pixels. So, and then we want the message, hello Lloyd, welcome back Lloyd. So let's put in a title right here. Let's drop it, and let's say let's call this welcoming message. Welcome back. No, let's put in first name, and let's call it user underscore first name. So what I did here is I wrote a message, and then I added a placeholder for me to put in to replace with the user's first name. So that's that. And then let us also add in another horizontal list. Let's place it in here. Let's make the title grow and for the remaining size of the horizontal list, like that. So we might have a little bit of a problem here because on a mobile screen we don't have that much room, but we'll see how we can manage. So let us then get rid of the background like this, and then let's put in a title in this but I'm just thinking maybe I don't need a title, but let's put in a horizontal list anyway. So it's always better to have something, because maybe when we want to add a button in the future for a top up on credits or something like that, we can just add it to this horizontal list easier. So let's put in credits, and then let's also put a placeholder for remaining credits right here, like this. And now let's make sure that these are a little bit smaller. So the height should not be 100%, but maybe 50 pixels, like this. And then the height of this one is also 50 pixels, like this. Voila. Of course, we don't need padding on this horizontal list as well. And then let's put in a little bit less, let's not that big of a font. Let's see. Okay, or we can put it underneath. We can see how we fare. Let's start with choosing a font that is like maybe 16 pixels. 16 pixels, like that. And then what was the font that you were using, Mulish? Also, let's pick Mulish here, and then let's also choose 16 pixels, and then let's choose Mulish right here. And maybe even for this one we can go down to like 12 pixels. And then we can fit them next to each other, because credits won't even be that big. So that's that. And then we can also maybe, instead of putting it to 150 pixels, we can also make it like fit to content, so it will just fit to whatever is inside here. And we can go even further than that. We can also make the title fit to content, and make this title fit to content, and then make this vertical list fit to content, and then it will be perfectly just as big as the content is. So as you can see on this page, it's a bit bigger, and on the it's a bit less high, and on this page it's a bit bigger. Voila. So let's do that, and then maybe we can use something in the font that will have a little bit of a lighter weight for the credits to appear. So let's see. So a bit like you did right here is a bit lighter, while this is a bit more bold, like this. So let's see what comes out of this already. So voila, as you can see, we have our welcoming message and we have our credits laid out. The only thing that bothers me is that once I do this, these credits are not completely aligned to the right. So what I can do to do this, to make this happen, is I grab the horizontal list in which I put the title to display the credits. And again, here, I just change the horizontal alignment to right, and then it will be aligned to the right of that horizontal list, which is actually at the end of its parent. We can make it drop underneath. Let me just think, because I think then we would need to put this at a bigger width. Yeah. So if okay, so if I so what do we need to do to make this responsive, Lloyd? That was your question. So you want, for example, to put it beside each other on a tablet and put it underneath each other on a mobile phone, for example. So then you have to think a bit, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. So the mobile phone has a certain width, and the tablet, I'm just going to pop it open right here, has a certain width as well. And what we can do is we can go to this title and we can give it a minimum size in width. So we say this title, of course, this title always grows to the remaining space of the parent, but it cannot shrink smaller than a certain size. And let's pick 400 pixels for this certain size. So as you can see here now, it is bigger than the mobile screen. So let's make it a little bit smaller, 350 pixels. Okay, we still have to make it a bit smaller. I think 250 pixels maybe. That's almost there. Let's make it 300. Like that. That's fine. That's fine. So it pushes off the credits right now. Huh? And what we can do in this in the parent of these two elements, of this title and the horizontal list that is inside this other horizontal list, we can say, okay, but you can wrap it to multiple lines. So this way it will wrap to multiple lines for the mobile version, but it won't wrap to multiple lines for the tablet. So let's test this out. Voila. And if you make it bigger, it will appear beside each other. And then, of course, at some point, it will start acting like it's a mobile screen. And we can play with this. We can play with this point, because I think this is not, well. This is probably you have some. Yeah, there are some. There are some presets right here which you can play around with to see if this is the tipping point that you want. But I think the way to play around with this is like play around with the minimum size. For example, make it a little bit less big, and then it'll have then the tipping point will be later, like a little bit later. Like this. And we can also maybe try and like, if we can, I don't know, I'm not sure if if you're able to center it. No, not exactly. Not exactly. Unless we center it here, but I don't want to do that. It is centered here though. So I should look into that. Should look into that. Yeah, so everything that you can set here with regards to size and position, that is for the particular screen setting that you are working on. And you can see the screen setting that you are working on by checking this icon right here. And this icon tells you that you are working for this screen setting. And this is actually, I'm just going to remove all the other ones. This is actually all screens. And let me just open up the one, the mobile version right here. Let's toggle off borders. If I select any item right now, you'll see that this is the mobile icon. So every change that I do now is for the mobile screens. Now you can switch by just selecting the same item on another screen. As you can see now, it changed. Or you can switch by clicking this button like this, clicking this button. Where is it? Here. And then you can choose to, for example, edit the tablet screen like that. So now this is the mobile screen. So let me just, I can maybe unset this, but Lloyd, it always boils down to playing around with it and seeing what works and see, because creating responsive sites can be a bit tricky. It can be tricky. Voila. So this will be somewhat of, I think this is an iPhone, so this will be somewhat of what we will be getting. Now, in future releases, we will make sure that not only this is attached to the screen that you are designing for, but also all these settings right here, because sometimes you want, for example, a smaller font when you have a smaller screen as well, or maybe even another font. And that's when you want to use other styling. So voila. Okay, so let's add this consistency 7 days, 28 days, and let's add the last 7 days that you were consistent or that you were using the app for. So we have to go in again, create a horizontal list, put it here, or even we have to use a vertical list. That's even better. And then put a horizontal list in that vertical list. Then get rid of the background again, get rid of the border again, and we add a title like this. Voila. And then we add like, let's see, we call it consistency 7 days, 28 days. Yeah, we can do this with another horizontal list, of course. So we'll add an horizontal list. We'll add a title. Okay. We'll add another title like this. Boom. And then we'll add, I think, another title. And why does he add 3 titles? I hear you thinking, Lloyd. Well, simply because you put some color on this one, so we'll have to put it. We'll also have to put it on this one. So let's make this horizontal list fit to content. for each and every screen, so also for the small screens, like that. And then let's say consistency, like that. And then let's say consistency days, a placeholder, we'll say days right here. Let's make it a smaller font size. So let's make it 60 pixels. I think we can also make this 16 pixels. Let's make this mullish. Let's make this what we need is we need a placeholder or a vertical list which contains but we're doing all right. Yeah, okay. That's perfectly fine. So let's continue. We can go ahead on doing that. So I'll just switch this to fit to content. Okay, and then this one as well, and that's but I understand why you said it, because then it doesn't have to be a placeholder, right? Yeah. So and then 28 days like this. Yep. And 28, 27 7 days, and then 16 pixels, and then we go to mullish, like that. Okay, and then we make this as wide as the content as well. So we make it fit to content, and we make this fit to content, and then we say, okay, this one can grow. So we have a nice alignment of our selector. And then what we do is, so we do it again like this. What we do is we add some padding to this one. So for example, 10 pixels of padding. And then we make this also fit to content. And then we also add 10 pixels of padding to this one. Maybe 10 is a bit too big. Let's go with 5. That's good enough. And then let's go with 5 as well right here. And then all we have to do is like make this align in the center so it's nicely aligned together. And then let's select, let's call this consistency 7 days button, and let's call this consistency 28 days button, like that. Let's also create a little bit of a hover on this button right here. So let's change the background when you hover it. So let's go to on hover, and let's choose, for example, the alternative. So if you hover it, it now gets an alternative background, and if you hover this one, it'll also get an alternative hover. Let's put in some rounded corners like that, and let's put in some rounded corners like this. So we have it actually looks like a little bit of a button, and we can also put in a pointer. I think I explained the pointer last time, so I don't have to explain it anymore. So like that. So then we have our consistency bar. I think that's the first step. And then the next step would be to actually have the days racked up, right? So we'll get rid of the padding in here, and then we'll get also rid of the gap that is in between these things. And then I think you had a little bit of a border there, so we'll leave this as is, but we'll get rid of this background. We'll get rid of the border and the background for this one, and then we'll put in a background for this one, which is your hope, not for this one. This is transparent, this background, but then I use the navigator actually for this one. So I'll call this one the consistency container, like that. And then let's put in some background for this one, like that. And then let's get rid of the background of this one. So, and then let's also move this to fit to content, and let's make it have a minimum size of like 200, for example. So, and this will be where we will add the days that you were consistent. And we can play around with the colors. That's not a problem, but let's continue. So voila. So now we have our consistency, we have our welcoming message. We can add this, remember, do not listen to the generated audio. So let's add this to the page as well. So that's really simple. You go and add, again, a vertical list for convenience. And then you add a text, not a text field, but a text component, and then you can put some text in it. So that's the only thing that this has to do, right? Just shows a warning to the user. Doesn't have to do anything when you click on it, right? Okay, so warning message. We can type it over another day, and then we'll make this fit to content, and also make this fit to content, and then we'll give this another background as well, like that.